Hello, everybody. It is Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast. What an exciting video. This is going to be on building a mailing list. I'm assuming you're watching it because you want to build a mailing list. And I'm going to say that you can do it. In fact, I think that the beauty of building a mailing list is that anybody can do it. I'm going to go that far. Before I get into this, I'm going to put out a few disclaimers. So you don't have to watch through the whole video. Just right here, a few disclaimers. One, this is a fact. YouTube is a fantastic tool for promoting your comic book ventures. 100% fantastic tool. It may or may not be something that you personally want to use. And no judgment here. Do what you want to do. It is a fantastic tool. It has been fantastic for me. I have seen people struggle with it. I've had people reach out to me and tell me that I have been making videos for over a year and I only get 6 views per video. This is not helping, Clint. Help me. And so I don't think that YouTube is for everybody to be a YouTube creator. In fact, I think I'm barely, it works for me, but I'm not like YouTube personality, high tier, like best. So that's the most awkward way I could say that. I struggle with YouTube as well. But it still has been a fantastic tool. There are other tools out there. I have heard that Instagram can be great for some things. I have yet to see hard examples of it being, it worked for many people. I think it's worked for very few people. But it could be out there. And yeah, there are probably several other programs, several other marketing methods and tools that are fantastic. That is great. Use whatever you want to use. Now, for your average Joe, you want to make comic books, you want to build an audience. That's the question. It's the number one question because you have to do this thing called building an audience if you want to make a comic book. You have to have people because it costs a lot of money to produce a comic book. Crowdfunding's a fantastic way to go. Again, it's not the only way. Like there's a lot of different ways to look at it. But what I want to talk about is mailing lists because I really believe that anybody can do it and should be doing it if you want to build an audience. But how do you do that? I'm going to show you. Let me give you one example here. Before I was crowdfunding comic books, I was, yes, writing comic books, trying to find artists and not getting a lot of luck. And I certainly did not have an audience. Something else I enjoy are games. And I launched this Kickstarter a long time ago. And I raised $1,100. Now that seems pretty measly with my 29 backers for this project that was, I think, a 30-day project because everything I read at the time said it has to be 30 days. Don't make it longer. So I did it. It went for 30 days. I got 29 backers, $1,100, did not get funded. But those 29 backers I brought into the project because I spent literally a month trying to build an audience. When I look back at that now, it's laughable. That is not enough time to build an audience to launch anything. But over the course of that month, I reached 29 people. Is that insignificant? Now, let's think about this for a moment. If you are starting from scratch, you have no audience whatsoever, can you get 29 people to buy something from you, to back it, to pledge money, to buy, whatever it is, your comic book? The way that I did this is I physically went to game stores. I went to one, I think 3 weeks in a row. So the way that it worked is it was Friday night. I went to a game store. I had a little giveaway. I was giving a game away. And I said, if you sign up for my mailing list for this project, I printed out some materials for this game. And I physically talked to people and got them to physically write down their name and email address. And I collected, I think, between 60 and 70 email addresses specifically for this campaign. And I sent out emails letting people know the campaign was going to launch. I only gave myself a month to do it because I'm crazy. And I got 29 people to back it out of between 60 and 70. Now, when you think about those numbers, that actually is not that bad. It's just that I put such a crazy time restraint on myself to build an audience that how was I possibly going to do it, by talking to people like that? I also went to Facebook, and I also had a blog. I'm going to be skipping around here a little bit. Had a blog. This is, I was writing novels too. I posted things on this blog, and I was tried to be pretty religious about posting things on my blog. I've since stopped because it's like, you don't have comments on your blog, like what's going on there. But actually, when I look back at it, my blog views were similar to my current YouTube views right now, which is really sad. Like it's really sad. But I mean, I put a post up and 258 people are seeing it, 358, 213, 201, 127. I mean, people were actually seeing these posts. So, if I did a better job at formatting this blog so that people could get in and, have some interesting content and then be directed to my mailing list, I think it could be a more effective tool. I didn't do a very good job with that. I had short stories on here. I had all sorts of stuff. Look, this was going since 2011. Crazy. Anyway, so that is how I did Arcade Fighter, got 29 backers. Nothing to write home about, not impressive, didn't get the money raised, okay? Let's look at another story here. This, if you've been following my channel for any length of time, you might recognize this landing page. This is once I announced that I was going to be launching a book called Downcast. I started promoting this. I started promoting it on my YouTube channel. And I spent about 6 months promoting it on YouTube, getting between, I'd have to look back at the views, at that time, probably around 400 to 800 views per video, and directing people to get this free ebook. The reason why I did this is because I was trying to sell a book and a comic book, and I wanted them to believe that I had some credibility as a writer, because it's my first comic book. And so I had already written novels. I put into the work to do that. And so I figured I can give away this free ebook novel for anyone to read in exchange for an email address. This does a few things. One, they get something for free. They have some incentive to follow your mailing list. But two, it also gets them to go and look for your email and open it, and presumably put that email not in their junk folder, in their main folder, so that they can see and get their free download. So once they did this, it was triggered another email. They would get it. They get a free All for Owen download, and they can read it or do whatever they want with it, sell it off to a pirating site, like whatever they want to do. But there was some kind of an exchange, and I was able to make communication. This is very effective. In fact, I looked at some of my report numbers and stuff from this, and I have not been promoting this particular landing page. I have different landing pages for my mailing list, but I can tell you that this was very successful. I launched my campaign, and I think in the first day I raised, we raised together something like 11,000, 12,000 in the first 24 hours. And that was based off of my mailing list that I've been building for 6 months and my YouTube live streaming that I did here on my channel. But my point is that you can absolutely build a mailing list. And I'm not going to promise you results on what you're going to get, what kind of lucky breaks are going to come your way, what kind of fortunes you're going to have, misfortunes. But even back here with this Arcade Fighter game, with my relatively minimal effort and kind of laughable when I look back at it now, I still got 29 people to back a project on a crowdfunding site because I met them in person and asked for their email address at a game store. That is something. And that is something, again, that I think anybody can do. The question is, though, how do you drive traffic to these landing pages? So obviously there are a few ways to do that. One, Indiegogo pre-launch pages. Did you know? Here's a fact. Indiegogo, when you sign up for a pre-launch page, you don't just sign up for Indiegogo to notify you when a campaign launches. What you're actually signing up for is that creator's mailing list. So Indiegogo on the back end will allow the creator to download all the email addresses that were collected here. This is just a landing page. And then I personally upload them to MailChimp. You could upload them to whatever, but you're not sending that email through Indiegogo. You're sending it through your own mailing list. That's the way that Indiegogo has it set up currently right now. That's not a bad thing at all. That means you're capturing that information. You're able to email to a mailing list. How do you drive people to a landing page? Which, by the way, you can look at Dracula down in the link in the description below and sign up for it here and see how my mailing list works. When you're signed up through a pre-launch page, I can how I drive traffic to it rather is I can send it you there through a YouTube video. Now, if your YouTube video gets 30 views, you're gonna feel sad. But you know what? Those are 30 people you've talked to, and you have shown them where they can sign up. Now, if they sign up and they never watch another one of your YouTube videos, that is okay because they have still signed up. You can still send them an email. Again, YouTube is fantastic and people find out about comic book campaigns there and everything. But a mailing list is just another great tool to add to it. They're not competing. Another way is actually Twitter. And I think that I've been underappreciating how much Twitter does for campaigns. I know you never are going to believe me saying this because I have so much bad to say about Twitter. But I try to pay attention as I post a campaign like this up on Twitter and I ask people to sign up to the pre-launch page. Then I check the numbers before and after on the back end, and I can see that I get a bump in people subscribing to my pre-launch page just because of Twitter. Now, all this is assuming that you have some cool artwork to show. Thankfully, I didn't do the cool artwork, but I know some cool artists that I've been very fortunate to work with. Again, very fortunate, and they have done killer artwork. And so that is going to circulate and you're going to collect people. This is very much a scalpel approach. Like you're being very slow, you're being very direct, trying to hit people up, get them on your mailing list. And again, like people joke that I have the personality of potato salad, or was it mashed potatoes? I'm not sure what it is. That's okay. But at least I have a mailing list and that's all that matters. And so I'm able to build an audience that way. I skipped around here a bit, but yeah, so one thing on blogs here. So I was joking with somebody today in a DM room on Twitter about, hey, blogs used to be the place to be. Like blogs, that built Jason Brubaker's entire comic book career. I know several other authors like Amanda Hawkins, not in comics, but authors out there, Hugh Howey, built a massive, they're making millions of dollars in like a month, money, like insane money on self-publishing their own books through Amazon. But it was all based on their blogs because they were creating blogs. And yes, those blogs were circulating. People would read blogs. They'd spend time, reading them, and less time on social media or so. I'm not exactly sure what the mix was, but people were reading blogs. I was joking that blogs are dead. But again, if I look at these views, those are views. Those are people seeing my blogs. It kind of makes me think maybe I need to go revive this dead blog and start posting stuff again because I already have content there. It kind of tells the story of my growth as a creator and a writer. But yeah, it's another avenue to reach people. How many you're going to capture? I don't know. Again, this would be you focusing on creating good content. So this is the formula in a nutshell. I should have done this right at the beginning. 1, you're going to give something. You're going to give more than you ask. You're going to give 9 times out of 10, and then that one time you're going to ask. So what are you going to give? You're going to give content. That content is going to be free. What is that content? It could be YouTube content. That's one. It could be a free book download, free ebook, like I did. It could be a free comic book download. That's how Alterna Comics works. I don't know if they still have it up. I'm pretty sure though. You can go to Alterna Comics website, sign up for the mailing list, and they'll give you like 3, I think, issue number 1s for free, digital. You can read and get in and read it. I remember that's how I started checking out Scrimshaw. Thought it was great. Bought the whole series. So it's something you can absolutely do. Anybody can do it, especially if you're a creator and you're making content. You could write blog posts. Blogs don't get good views. Well, I don't know. I was talking to Vaughn though, and he's actually killing it with blogs. So I'm looking at these views. Those are not nothing. Talking to hundreds of people every time you post is something. Same with video content. If you're talking to 30 people, 100, 200, 1,000, I used to get 1,000 views on every video. I remember those days. Nice days. Beautiful. It is all good. You still got to talk to people. I'm planning on going to a convention, Plastic City Comic Con, which is in July. I think it's the 15th. That sounds right. And so I'm going there. I'm going all in. And one of the things I want to learn is, can I build my mailing list face to face? How many email addresses can I collect for a crowdfunding campaign or for, whatever the future holds? Can I collect those email addresses? How many can I collect? And, use that in-person face-to-face skills to achieve that. We will find out. And trust me, I will report back on how it went. So if you're frustrated, I got to set a few things aside. Okay. If you believe that you can make a YouTube channel and just kill it, there are several people out there who do fantastic content, on YouTube. I think like a really good success story is Michael Bancroft. He's a great artist, but he's also really done a good job of streamlining his live streams on YouTube. He makes good, interesting content. He connects with people and he gets people interested in his comic books. He does fantastic stuff. Okay. Not an industry pro that you know from Marvel or DC or anywhere else, Image, whatever, list goes on and on. But he still is able to build a presence and build an audience based off of his YouTube content. If you can do that, that's fantastic. I applaud you. Yes, do it. If you can't, and that stresses you out that you can't, and you feel like I'll never be able to do this because I don't like being on YouTube, I don't think it's fun, it stresses me out, I came here to write comics or draw, I didn't come here to be seen talking, I'm telling you that is okay. It might be a little bit more difficult, but I'm telling you that you can build an audience. You can build a mailing list. You're going to have to use the internet in one form or another. You're going to probably find your strengths, try a few things, but whatever you do, you got to think, what am I giving to people? I want the 9 times out of 10, I want to be giving something of value. And that is your content, good content. However form, whatever you're going to deliver that in. And in exchange, you get a email address because people have learned a little bit about you. They trust you a little bit more and they want to hear more from you. That is how it works. This is not a secret model by any means. This is stuff that I've read a lot about. I know a lot of business owners that build their businesses this way. And yes, I built a window cleaning company that paid off all my student loans from me going door to door and talking to people and collecting their information, emails and phone numbers, and talking to people door to door. And trust me, that was not fun. I don't think I was particularly good at it at all. In fact, I think I'm actually straight up bad at it, but I did it. I forced myself to get out of my comfort zone and do it and talk to people. And I built a business, paid off all my student loans. It was a fantastic business for me and it improved my life and my family's lives. So yeah, I don't want to harp on this anymore, but my point is that it really is a great tool. Now, I don't think I do a very good job of lead nurturing. Like once I have people in the mailing list, how do I give people great content in their mailing list? This is something I really want to start working on more by sending out a monthly newsletter that has good content that people actually want to read, not overwhelm them, but interesting stuff, good stuff for them to see. That's what I want to use my mailing list for more frequently. And that way it becomes more valuable to be on that mailing list. I've got several other ideas for specific mailing lists that would be fantastic. Oh gosh, one of them, I was going to pull this up. There's one called the Daily Kick in the Pants I used to follow religiously, and I would read every single day. David Farland, he's an author. He would send out a newsletter every day from his mailing list, and it would be tips on writing, and it basically be encouragement about writing, whatever was on his mind. And I would read it every single day. And if I didn't have time to read it, I would save it and read it the next day. I was so hyped on his mailing list. Since like, I guess I got to re-sign up again because I don't really use that email address very much anymore. But it was fantastic. It made me want to support him. I went and saw him in person at a convention and met him. And yeah, fantastic because he gave good stuff out. But he was in front of me every single day, and that was on a mailing list. That, again, that's not for everyone. But if you set up a mailing list specifically for that purpose, to just be whatever that kind of content is that you want to deliver, again, I've got ideas. If you want an idea for a mailing list, I've got one that you could tackle. I've got like a few. But you can make that the content. The point of this video is just to say that, you know, there is a lot that is within your control. I understand that it's hard. It's very difficult. Going door to door is difficult. Asking people for their information is difficult. But if you focus on those fundamentals, that's how it works across the board for everyone. Some people are going to have a much easier time with it, and some people it's going to be more difficult. But in the end, you get out of it what you put into it, and you're guaranteed to not get results if you don't work on it. You're guaranteed to do much better if you do work on it. So if you're out there making comics, I know you are, and you want to build that audience, strongly consider making a mailing list part of your plan. Anyway, long video, kind of a rant, but I think it's important to highlight. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, join my pre-launch page. I'll get you on the mailing list. And you can learn about Clint Stoker's Dracula. This is coming out, and I'm really excited for it. So yeah, thanks so much. See you in the next video.